Good morning, welcome to CATEX TV. Today is Friday, October 7th, 2016. If you want to follow us on Twitter, please go to CATEX TV. Well, this is like the fog of war. When there's a striking hurricane going on, good information is difficult to find. Here's what we do know about Hurricane Matthew right now. It's approximately 40 or 45 miles off the coast of Cape Canaveral in Florida. It's packing winds of 120 miles per hour. Been downgraded to a Category 3 hurricane. At least 340 people in Haiti are known dead as a result of the hurricane. The question now is, what does it do next? There is apparently a real severe concern about storm surge, which could unfortunately correspond with high tides in areas such as Daytona Beach and further north in Jacksonville, which could in fact put the storm surge at about 11 feet. Which would wipe out a significant amount of low-lying land as well as structures and other things on the land. Deaths in Florida have not been reported yet, so many people, millions of people, have heeded the Florida governor's Rick Scott's admonition to get out. People have left. More than 2.5 people are under evacuation orders from Florida and South Carolina. The storm is likely to remain offshore based on predictions that have been relatively agreed to by most meteorologists. It's going to then move up the coast. It's going to pass the Jacksonville area and then head up the coast of Georgia, past Savannah, and possibly at that point, according to the most popular estimate on the models, make an abrupt right turn toward the east and then begin to loop back toward the south. If that happens and the storm begins to loop back toward the south, it will come into contact with increasingly warmer water and may re-intensify in its strength and then could be meandering back down around the southern area of Florida. So this storm is quite unpredictable and nobody yet knows where it's going to go or what it's going to do. What we do know right now is that it has sustained wind speeds of 120 miles per hour. If it comes back around again and re-intensifies with warmer water, it could be quite unusual as well as quite deadly. Some 2,800 airline flights have been canceled throughout Florida airports. All schools, businesses are closed in the affected areas, and people have either evacuated or are in reinforced shelters. As usual, when something like this happens, there's a whole spate of estimates as to what the insured losses could be. The following consensuses have been thrown out by relatively credible analysts. J.P. Morgan is saying that insured losses could fall between $10 and $30 billion, which could wipe out a whole quarter's earnings. Macquarie is saying that insured losses could be between $10 and $20 billion. RMS is saying that there's a 40% chance of Matthew resulting in an industry-insured loss of $20 billion. Meanwhile, Bloomberg is running an article saying that the total economic impact for an economic loss from the storm could be as high as $50 billion. The whole question depends on the storm track. Right now, as of about 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time on on Friday morning, the consensus is that if the storm remains about 50 miles offshore, as it seems to be doing and has been doing through most of the night, that the worst will have been passed for the insurance and reinsurance industry. However, that's a mighty big if, and a difference of even 10 or 15 miles in the storm's location could mean a difference of billions of dollars for the industry. So a number of people are watching this very closely. There's a whole roster of reinsurers that have been named insofar as being potentially hit by the storm. It makes no sense to read those names out because, frankly, they're all publicly traded, and it's all just conjecture at this point. What's not conjecture is what happened to the British pound last night. The pound went down to about $1.18 in value in trading in Asia overnight. It was a chaotic trading scene that apparently included a flash drop, one of those algorithmic headless horseman drops that occurred in Asia sometime at about 2 o'clock in the morning. And then what happened, it was piled onto by human trading. Traders and strategists cited several reasons for the crash. Comments by French President Hollande in Paris calling for tough exit negotiations with the British. The pound's fall came early in the Asian session. and then it was followed on by London traders when the market opened there. The pound has stabilized a bit now at about $1.25. So in fact it has bumped up a little bit, but the pound is looking to be an increasingly rocky ride in the future. Sompo Canopius and Endurance held a press conference yesterday following Sompo's acquisition of Endurance for about $6.3 billion. The CEO of Sompo Canopius, Mr. Securata, said his firm was purposely not pursuing synergies in terms of numbers, particularly in costs. He said, my understanding is that if we want to grow, we need more capital. When I say capital, I mean not only money capital, but also human capital. John Charman said it would be pretty stupid of us to destroy value. Both businesses are actually quite complementary. So we will work in the months ahead to find the best and most efficient way of creating an even stronger business out of the two companies. Management also confirmed that the acquisition of Endurance would go ahead even if Endurance was to take a substantial loss from Hurricane Matthew. There is no adverse development clause in the deal term, apparently. The Dutch insurer Delta Lloyd has rejected an unsolicited bid by NN Group of $2.7 billion to buy the company. Delta Lloyd said that the financial terms are not acceptable and don't reflect the benefits of consolidation. According to Delta Lloyd, the offer substantially undervalues our company. We will always take a good look at serious proposals. Delta Lloyd has always been cited as a potential target for NN, which is a Dutch insurer as well. Delta Lloyd returned to profit in the first half of this year after cutting costs and completing a €650 million rights offer to improve the company's financial levels. There's one thing that Hurricane Matthew has done. It has taken the U.S. presidential election off the front pages of the newspapers. However, that will end on Sunday, when debate number 2 between Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump will be held in St. Louis. So we'll see what happens between now and then. If we have any breaking news or if Matthew changes course, we'll come back and tell you. Thank you for watching. Have a good weekend, and we'll see you Monday.